Long journey to where I've gotten. I mean, I started my channel back in 2017 because I've been, like you said, I'm an early investor in Bitcoin. I've been involved with it for a while. And the 2017 bull run came around and I was like, I need to see who's, the people that are pushing this space forward, who are talking about it. And I just saw the influencers and I was like, oh my God, they know nothing. I'm like, I know more than these fuckers. So I literally was like, all right, I'm going to start making videos. And yeah, I started just with a basic webcam. Really, I mean, if you go, I still have my first videos up on my channel. If you go back to them, it's ridiculous. My voice is shaky. I'm shaking, because I'm so nervous and everything. But it's, been a great journey. I've really been focusing on fundamentals, projects that are actually fundamentally building things that are going to change the world and change the landscape of the financial markets. So that's why I came across Centrifuge, and that's why I started making videos on it, because I knew you guys were going to do something that's going to change the way the financial sector works.
Yeah, perfect. That's a really good point, and maybe we can talk about it later. How you found this project, because that's really interesting. We have, I don't know, 12,000, 15,000 coins, and maybe 95% are worthless. And how do we really find these projects?
Yep.
But yeah, maybe let's start. If I remember correctly, I didn't count all of them, but maybe you have more than 1,000 videos on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember them all, but if you look back to the last 4 or 5 years, do you have some videos on your mind where you would say these are the top videos everyone must know, everyone must watch? For example, I named two examples. The Chip Chodler episodes are hilarious. They're really fine.
I need to bring him back, man. Oh.
And for example, you're going on the street, which is quite unique, and ask random people what's their opinion about crypto, and you offer them money or an NFT or USDC, and that's hilarious. So what's on your mind when you say the top 3 videos?
Oh, my top videos. Well, of course, I got to go back to what you said, my Chip Chodler episodes. I did those when I lived in Miami, and I had my video editor and cameraman who was, right there with me. So I would really like to bring Chip back. And it's been in talks for a while now, but we're just working out the kinks here. One of my favorite videos, though, I've ever produced was when I predicted the Doge 1 launch from Elon Musk and SpaceX. Elon was giving out hints in his Spotify playlist and basically changing the songs. So the first letter of each song in his playlist spelled out something. And each letter spelled out LMRST, which stands for, I figured out, stands for Low Mass Radio Science Transponder, which is a CubeSat satellite. So when I was able to figure that out, I predicted he was probably going to be launching these satellites eventually to the moon, something to do with crypto, and then eventually to Mars. Well, 2 days later, that came true. Like it gave me tingles. Like I was like, is this a freaking simulation? Because I thought it was ridiculous. I was like, no way, no way I'm gonna get this right. I was just making a cool video that had some conspiracy breadcrumbs, and it came true. It kind of freaked me out, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
That was a nice one. I saw it, and it was really freaky, I have to say. But you nailed it, and it was really right. Yeah, maybe another one, or maybe what's, because I guess your channel is not done yet. So what are your plans?
Well, another memorable one, and this is actually one that's not good. I actually got something correct, but then it ended up falling through. So I predicted that Flashbots, which is an MEV solution, MEV company working on Ethereum MEV. I predicted that Flashbots or Uniswap would eventually be integrating Flashbots technology, which was basically created by this coin called Alchemist coin. And it ended up, basically coming true. If we went into the GitHub, we could see that part of the team from Alchemist coin and Uniswap devs were working together on an MEV solution. Well, Uniswap ended up railroading Alchemist coin, and they basically just stole the technology and kicked them to the curb. So I actually predicted that one, but it was didn't work out in my favor, basically. So that one's super memorable because I got it correct, but the politics of cryptocurrency and large, companies ended up, making it not come true, which really sucked.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, you can be right 100% and all the time.
No,
yeah,
no.
maybe what's interesting for the community. How did you find Centrifuge? Because I personally came to Centrifuge through your channel. I know a dozen of other guys who had the same path. So a totally unknown project. How did you find it? What's your approach of finding such projects?
Well, I mean, my way of researching is a tad bit different than most people. Of course, I use Google, but Google is actually one of the last things on my list I use for research. I do research through forums where actual people are talking, so I actually think I found Centrifuge through 4chan. Yeah. Some people
That's
were
a nice
talking
one.
about it. Yeah. So
that's crypto at its best.
Yeah, and people don't think, oh, I need to go to 4chan for research. That's just a bunch of degens. Well, actually, some of the best stuff I've found has came from 4chan. So I actually use a combination of Twitter, 4chan, and Reddit. Those are my three biggest research resources. Because Google, as it can be manipulated, the search results. It's not real people usually. It's companies paying to get that spot, the first result. While if you use Reddit, 4chan, Twitter, you can just find real people. And
perfect.
I want to get my information from actual people.
Or you watch the community calls from the projects, and then you get 100% right and accurate information.
Exactly. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I forgot to explain how this works. We have a few questions we collected at the beginning, and of course, everyone in the community, please ask your questions if you have questions. Post them in the chat, then we can read them out loud, or you can ask them directly. Tyler, Chico is not biting, so. But yeah, thanks for the input for the start. Then we can continue with the next question. This is quite an interesting one because it was posted in the forum in one of our monthly summaries. There's some stats, play with numbers. That DeFi got, everyone knows who is invested in crypto. We are in a bear market, and DeFi got hammered quite heavily. It decreased by 70% roughly. But the TVL, the total value locked in Centrifuge in Tin Lake, it exploded by 100% year to date. What's your stance? What's your opinion? Is this just an outlier, or do people really believe let's invest in something what brings 5%, 10% of yield instead of 300%, 500,000%? What's not really sustainable?
Yeah. So, well, this just goes to show you that even in a bear market or even a global recession, which we basically are in right now, that the real world doesn't stop producing, consuming, and trucking forward. Centrifuge is focusing on real world businesses and their assets, sustainable yields. And because of that, the TVL is only going to keep increasing because the world doesn't stop. We keep growing, like you said, last bull run, we got out of control with those unsustainable yields. And it was a house of cards waiting to crash down, and it has came crashing down. While your yields are pretty much the same, they haven't moved. you know, while most other projects yields are crashing. So I would say eventually, you know, your yields are likely to increase as you guys are able to, you know, find those projects, the real world companies that are able to provide that yield in a safe and sustainable manner. And I think many people are going to catch on to this, and it's only a matter of time as the bear market progresses, because I don't think we're out of the bear woods yet.
I totally agree that this is the reason it's not an outlier. It shows how important it is to have sustainable yield and not something what's up there for 1 week and then it crashes totally. So and let's not forget it's backed by real world assets. You have something, you have a security. So if the shit hits the fan, sorry for my French, then yeah, you have real world, you have the pool backed by real world assets and not by something what's not what's not realistic. That's really huge. Just one more question on this topic, because real world assets are not going, they are not going anywhere. They are here to stay. Do you have something totally where you would say this kicks off the mass adoption, like, I don't know, PayPal on in Tinlake, backed by real world assets? Do you have something? Because we have already. I know you are a climate fan, decarbonization and so on, and recently a new pool launched by Flow Carbon, and they are into decarbonization and so on. So what's your, let's say, killer RWA, which will kick off the mass adoption?
Well, I think you know, the standards for RWAs have to be, you know, created. You know, the token standards, smart contract standards, and eventually, once those are created and they're accepted industry wide, I think that is going to be the big kicker for real world assets. As you know, a lot of the companies that are, you know, treading into this water are small to medium sized enterprises. You know, I think once the standards are created, accepted, and recognized across industries, that's when we're going to see a Fortune 500 company, you know, eventually getting into the real world asset tokenization space.
Yeah, surprise. I totally agree on that as well. Yeah, Centrifuge or Tinlake is aiming at SMEs. So what a surprise. So hopefully this will be beneficial, but I do believe that's the case. Perfect. Thanks, Tyler, for the first two questions.
No
yeah, maybe we have questions from the community. Peter, do you want to ask your questions already?
Sure. I think I posted 2 in there. So I guess, Tyler, I know from watching your channel, you're a massive .sama bull. You love interoperability. I guess for Centrifuge and Altair, what do you see the biggest interoperability plays being, apart from like Akala and Karura? Is there anything that you're really excited about?
Could you repeat that? Sorry, man.
Just in terms of the interoperability angle, I know you love that and have spoken about it previously. For Centrifuge and Altair, what do you see the interoperability plays that excite you the most, apart from the obvious ones like Akala and Karura?
Oh, well, I would really like to see some interoperability plays between Energy Web Chain and Centrifuge, because there are a ton of real world assets, like you were just saying, the Flow Carbon pool, you know, DER's decentralized energy resources. I mean, that's a massive industry, and I would love to see some interoperability plays between those. As we know, Energy Web is probably going to be creating the first pair relay chain on Polkadot, so that's pretty exciting.
Okay, cool. I had one other question. It was just around Altair. So I guess some of the exciting functionality coming there is the ability to potentially collateralize your NFTs. Could you see yourself doing that in the future at all?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. I'm sitting on a pretty good batch of NFTs, and in one of the, you know, most valuable ones in the .sama ecosystem. I have a Moon Sama. So I would love to be able to utilize that in
Okay,
DeFi.
very cool. Cool.
Nice one. Thanks, Peter, for the questions. Really interesting. And yeah, Tyler, Chico, thanks for answering, of course.
No problem.
There is one question. Yeah, maybe we can. Yeah, we can talk about another coin because the question is here in the chat.
Yeah.
You mentioned Helium, if I remember correctly, in your channel one time or several times. What about Helium?
I've talked minimally about Helium. The big thing I think is great about Helium is their decentralized 5G network, which is only getting, initially out there. So I'd love to see that grow. But I've been weary of Helium, actually.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's not. We don't need to talk in detail about it, but it was just a curious question from the community. Yeah, nice. I
like
yeah.
Robert's question.
Okay.
Given how prudent Centrifuge has been to KYC and AML and the commitment to decentralization and governance, do you see Centrifuge being one of the few projects to survive a potential regulatory purge by the SEC? That is 100% correct, my friends. The SEC is already coming after. It's coming after crypto. There's no doubt about it. I actually got a call from investigators regarding, I can't probably say too much about this, but yeah, they're coming hard. I'm telling you right now, they're coming after projects, they're coming after influencers, they're coming after the space. And Centrifuge is one of the projects that has done everything right. So I do.
Yeah, nice one. Nice question, Robert. Thanks. Omega Fatty asks. I saw some influencers because you mentioned it. They are getting a hard time. In Berliner got sued by the SEC or so. Then the other one, the other one.
I hate Ian Bellina. He threatened me with a lawsuit a long time ago. So
yeah, this is the 2080, 2070 crew, and the other one I can't remember. But let's stay focused here and not concentrate on the others. Yeah, this is a really good question. So, what's your opinion? Is crypto is still a wild west? So many projects unregulated and so on. Regulation is when the ban hammer smashes down on projects, and it can happen pretty fast that projects go down. Is this needed, in your opinion, for crypto to really reach this mass adoption status, or is it that no one should decide? Like the SEC should stay away, and the Fed, I don't know. So let's keep this this wild status, and then.
That's a hard question. That is, because regulation is great on one hand, but it's so bad on the other hand. Regulation stifles innovation. There's no doubt about that. But again, like we saw with some of the stuff going on in the space, Celsius, Terra Luna, people are losing millions of dollars because of the disregard of their assets by the founders. Literally some of these projects out there are made to enrich the founders and the few insiders, and that's all it's built for. So I think we need smart regulation. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, it happened. That's community.
So I think we need smart regulation that's going to not stifle innovation, but the United States is pretty much, on a path, in my opinion, right now, where they are on a path of stifling innovation.
Yeah, I totally agree. Of course, everyone who is in crypto wants to make he wants or she wants to invest in projects and get some yield and some gains. and these crazy gains with a few 100% in a week or so. Of course, it's tempting, but it's not sustainable. So I totally agree that there is some regulation needed, but not with the with the hammer. It needs to make sense, and I totally agree that Centrifuge is going the right direction with a lot of applying to the law and so on. That's really helpful. Yeah, thanks.
We just don't need overreaching regulation. We need smart regulation that's going to allow the innovative companies to flourish, you know, while getting the scams out of the space. So it's like it's a double-edged sword, unfortunately.
Yeah, that of course it's always the same. If you down regulate, if you over regulate something, then it's killing the industry. If you don't regulate, then scams happen, like you mentioned, Terra Luna and so on, and we don't need that. So it's crypto is dangerous enough and can happen a lot, but yeah, the more secure the merrier, of course.
But there's also my thought of, you know, Darwinism too. You know, the dumb people are going to fall for scams no matter what. You know, it may not even be in crypto. It may be out in the real world. You know, they may be that type of person that just buys lottery tickets, you know, and wastes every single bit of their check on that. You know, why isn't, you know, the lottery industry regulated more, you know? So, I mean, on one hand, I mean, I'm a total, you know, I'm an anarchist by heart, you know, so I hate regulation. I think it's freaking ridiculous. But again, I mean, we're not going to get to mass adoption unless we have some bit of regulation.
Definitely. Yeah, let's continue with one question from the community. Fomodoyo, do you want to ask the question to Tyler? Because you raised your hand recently. Or should I read it? Yeah, just a second. Yeah, he said I should read it. I need to find it. I guess it means what real world problems is CFG attempting or has solved. And then if a project has a vision, what is Centrifuge? And he says he's a long-term member of the Chico Telegram group.
So could you repeat that question?
Which real world problems is Centrifuge attempting to solve or has solved already? Maybe this is the first part of the question. Maybe so, you want to take this one?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, Centrifuge is one of the first to begin bringing real world assets into DeFi. They're solving a big problem for small to medium sized enterprises, which is finding that funding. You know, going through a bank can be a big freaking pain in the butt to get financing. It can be impossible for some companies. So Centrifuge is allowing some of these smaller, medium-priced enterprises to get the funding they need to continue their operations and grow.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely. I can confirm that it's. I don't have a business, but what I heard and what I know, it's quite hard if you can't provide the funds properly. If you don't, if you're not in existence for 10 years, for example. And you need a loan that yeah you're having a hard time, and Centrifuge Tinlake is definitely solving this problem.
Yeah.
I personally would like to see that. That would be really interesting, but maybe that's a future vision. Yeah, how it looks like within individuals. So we have Tinlake pools for issuers and asset originators. Maybe this is possible in the future as well. Just an idea.
Great. That would be great. One thing I would love to see is individual.
Maybe we can put it on the agenda or discuss it further in the forum.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then maybe the second part of the question, if we still have time. Yeah, okay, the vision, the vision of Centrifuge.
The vision?
I guess, yeah, the vision.
Well, the vision of Centrifuge is, you know, to tokenize the world. I mean, that is the vision of Centrifuge. I mean, real world assets, I mean, trillions of dollars of real world assets in the real world, from real estate to, I mean, business inventories, the list goes on and on. So, I mean, the ultimate vision of Centrifuge is to tokenize the world. That is, you know, that's what I've always thought.
Yeah, definitely, I agree on that. I saw some, maybe it's not crazy, it's high, of course. I saw some prediction or some goal, 1 billion TVL in Tinlake. So I don't know, what's your opinion if that's crazy or possible?
No, not crazy at all. I would expect it to happen within the next 2 years.
That's a nice one. That's actually that's the next question, but
yeah, just
Kate, Kate, you want to go ahead?
Just to clarify, it's a good question to ask about the vision or the mission. And I think Centrifuge as a community, as a protocol, what we're all trying to do is unlock economic opportunity for everyone by connecting people to borrow and lend money transparently and cost effectively, and free of some of the huge intermediaries and the big inefficiencies of TradFi or traditional finance and banks. So that's kind of the thing that gets us up in the morning, and everyone in the community is invited into that vision for the world as well. Thanks for asking.
I mean, if we talk about it, the TVL is currently around, I don't know, 90 million, 87 million. And 1 billion is like, I don't know, where's the teacher? 12, 15x. So it's not that insane, I would say.
No.
Still possible. Yeah, thanks, Ivan. 86 something, so possible. Yeah, Matthew, you want to ask your question?
Sure, man. Hey, what's Chico,
up,
man?
Matthew?
Good to see you, brother. Love your
Good to see
channel.
you as
Been
well.
following you for
Thank you.
ages. You are like Alpha King, as far as I'm concerned.
I try.
So often the question I think in my own head, and I'm wondering if you've thought this as well, are there any industries out there that you would think would be good centrifuge asset originators who would really, get good value out of the project?
Yeah. So
I think,
go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, I think if we could figure out maybe some niche industries that could really make use of this, we might even see more pools get created.
Yeah. One of the things I really want to see Centrifuge focus on is the TradFi industry. That there's a lot of real world assets that are in that industry that aren't being tokenized. So I mean, from shipping and logistics companies, I think would be massive. Like just Christian said, console freight equals trade finance. I think that should be a focus because that is an underdeserved industry, and it's hard to get, those assets financed.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem, Matt. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, enough potential use cases. I personally would like to see, and Centrifuge is doing that in one of the pools. Emerging markets. It's really important. Africa, Asia, and so on. That's really huge.
Yes.
A lot of big potential, huge potential. Okay, let's continue. If any questions from the community? Yeah, maybe I can ask this question, Tyler, because you talked about it in one of your calls. Carbon credits, yeah, sure. D-Factor, what's your opinion about D-Factor? Because D-Factor is going. D-Factor is a project who has its token, but it's going to launch a pool on Tinlake in the future.
No, I did cover DeFactor, and a lot of people were trying to say it was sponsored and shit. I'm like, no, I just found that, you guys. I always say it's sponsored. But yeah, I'm excited to see what DeFactor can do, especially with their pool. It's just, yeah, they had an initial, everyone was accusing them of a pump and dump, when the token launched and it went up and down. That has a lot to do with, it's hard to say, because when I cover projects, of course, I'm going to buy a little bit of the project. My wallets are all public, so I have a lot of people that freaking will front run my community because they see me buy, then they freaking just shoot it to the moon. And yeah, so hopefully, that monkey on the back, of DeFactor, it wasn't them, it wasn't me, it was some fucking assholes that track my wallets, that, releases from them, and they're able to move forward and do a good pool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't comment on what happened with their token, but DeFactor is of course legit. Otherwise, they won't be interested, or they won't be a candidate to launch a pool on Tinlake. So, of course, that's all I can say on this topic. Yeah, let's continue. We talked about it already. And I don't know if you said a number. What's your? I mean, there are different projects. It's not only Tinlake and Centrifuge. We have Goldfinch. We have DeFactors. We said. I can't remember the other one. So there are different projects competing with real world assets. Let's assume we are in the bear market. We are still, unfortunately. What can happen in the next 2 years in terms of TVL or market growth?
Well, I mean,
maybe a number. I know it's difficult.
A number in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, RWAs, real world assets, is basically what's going to allow DeFi 2.0. I mean, we're in DeFi 1.0 as of right now, and DeFi 2.0 with integration of RWAs is the next evolution of it, because it's going to literally unlock lending potential of trillions of dollars of assets. And it puts DeFi and some of these real world asset companies in direct competition with banks and traditional lenders. So when by bridging, the invoices, which are already happening, royalties and real estate to DeFi, it's going to allow borrowers to finance their real world assets without banks or other intermediaries. So you guys are now working with, small to medium sized enterprises. In the next 2 years, I do see those standards that I talked about emerging, which is going to allow it to expand to larger enterprises. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a Fortune 500 company, diving into the real world asset space within the next 2 years. And if you guys are one of the people to pull that, oh yeah, billion might be small within the 2 years.
Nice one. So
and wouldn't that be cool if that Fortune 500 company had a Polkadot parachain themselves?
I know what you're talking about. So maybe EWT, because they are launching. They have validators, and every validator can have their own parachain, let's say.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then yeah, nice one. I like the idea. Yeah, we will see it. I mean, 2 years is, in my opinion, and probably your opinion as well. This bear market will last, yeah, maybe 2 years, and then we will see. But yeah, we agree that real world assets are the future, and there's no way around it.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt that Shell is eventually going to be launching a parachain on Energy Web. There's no doubt about that. I mean, they're one of the first companies to work with Energy Web. They're part of the initial consortium that created the Energy Web Foundation. They got such big things going on. So yeah, Fortune 500 company will definitely have a parachain, in my opinion, on Polkadot in the next.
Looking forward, and yeah, let's stay curious if there will be some partnership between EWT and Centrifuge. We will see. We have one really interesting question from one of the governance facilitators. What's your opinion on governance in general? Is this something the regular investor needs to keep on his and her mind, or should they just buy the token and stake the token, pay for transaction fees or whatever? So governance, what's your opinion?
I think governance is interesting. I mean, because it's hard, you know, a lot of people, they want to just hold the token, like you said, and earn, you know, the gains, some of the staking rewards, and they won't participate in governance, you know. I would like to see an ability for people to basically lend their governance vote to entities that they trust, you know, so they don't have to, you know, vote on each thing, you know. It's maybe a certain parachain, you know. I want to see a way that all, you know, the votes within, you know, a project through the tokens are utilized, but that's not going to happen because most people, they really don't care about governance. But they could care about governance if you know, there was a reward or something tied along with it. You know, they gave these people their vote, they got a certain amount of, you know, tokens back. I don't know. But governance is highly important, there's no doubt about it. But getting full governance from your token holders is freaking hard. It's difficult.
Yeah, we launched we implemented OpenSquare, Subsquare for as a UI user interface, and yeah, still in the early phases of motivating the community. But yeah, definitely we are on it. And that's really important. I agree. Yeah, maybe just the one question we can Sara pose, we can ask at the end, because this is a Chico channel related question. Maybe one more question, because we talked about the elephant in the room, regulation and over-regulation. That yeah, the governments say we over-regulate crypto, and then the industry is more or less dying or has a really hard time. What's specifically for RWAs? What's your opinion? What is the biggest barrier? What can happen?
What's the biggest barrier to
mass adoption to let's say yeah, a project like Centrifuge has success? What's the biggest barrier?
The biggest barrier is probably the navigational maze of regulations that you guys got to follow. I mean, you got to be very careful. I'm sure you guys know this, about who you let, you know, use 10 link, who, you know, you allow to finance some of these businesses, because these can be considered securities, you know, so you do have to go through the KYC AML. I'm sure, you know, if you allowed, you know, anyone to provide to some of these pools, the TVL would probably already be at $1 billion. But because of regulation, you know, that's not allowing it to grow as fast as it could in the wild, wild west. So in my opinion, regulation is hands down one of the biggest barriers.
Sure, definitely. I agree. I see, maybe, I don't know if it's a problem, but it's one of your most talked about topics. There's a nice question from Apostol. He said, because Tether launched on Polkadot. What's your opinion? Is that positive? Is that good? Because Tether is the third largest crypto.
Interesting
and
question.
It's the largest stablecoin. So is this like, how should I say? Is this explosive, or is this a lot of cash which possibly could come to Polkadot or Tin Lake?
I mean, of course, Tether is massive, but as everyone knows, you know, there's a question of, is Tether backed? you know? Well, Tether isn't back. I did a video on this. It's a pretty good freaking video. I've thought for the longest time that Tether wasn't backed, but Tether is actually fully backed. It's not backed in the way you think it is. Tether isn't holding the cash in their banks. With literally, it's other crypto companies that have connections to American banks and some of the largest banks in the crypto space, like Silvergate and what's the other one? Why can't I think of it? But it's another American bank, and they're being held. The funds are being held by these other institutions, crypto institutions in American banks. So it's fully backed. It's just not in the way people think. It's so hard. I mean, Tether's issuing these crypto companies unbacked Tether in the hopes that these fuckers manipulate the markets, and then they make their money back, and then they are able to, you know, give Tether their money when they want it, you know, which is completely illegal. It's completely so I could see it good in the short term, but bad in the long term, because eventually regulators are going to figure this shit out, and Tether is going to be probably not come crashing down, but there's going to be a big shakeup in the industry.
Yeah. And then that's the question, if it's good or if it's bad. Of course, if everything is imploding and Tether is going down, it's bad. But in the long run, when it is really a malicious actor, then it has to disappear. So yeah. I agree. It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
It's yeah, double-edged sword too, because
it is. Yeah.
The liquidity is great, you know, but what Tether is doing, in my opinion, is going to have regulators come down on them hard.
Definitely, I agree. Yeah, nice shirt, by the way. We have one of our Rainer, one of our governance facilitators. He's making advertisement for Centrifuge. Maybe you can, Rainer, if you want to show your shirt, that you have an equivalent for Centrifuge. But that's just yeah, just side talk.
Ooh, I like it.
And we have
I can see it. Yes.
A beautiful small human joining us, Matthew.
Yeah, that's a CFG baby.
Yeah, perfect. You can't start early enough with dealing with Tin Lake and Centrifuge. That's really nice.
Get them started early.
Nice one. Maybe we can close the Q&A session with, or the AMA. Let's call it like that, with 2 personal questions to your channel. So not that personal, but to your channel. Sara Posa is asking, and that's quite interesting, because I'm from Europe, you're from the US, and we have a split of Europe, Asia, United States, North America, and so on. Can you give maybe some stats, or do you have some numbers about your channel to reach out? Mostly Europeans, mostly US audience?
Well, my largest group of audience is Americans. It's about 35%. But if you combined all of Europe, it would actually outdo America. You know, individual countries, of course, aren't going to, outdo the United States as a whole. But if you combined all European countries, I think probably about 50 to 60% of my views come from Europe. So thank you, Europeans.
Nice one. Yeah, that was the Portugal impact, probably from your channel.
Yeah, I
miss nice videos. Now you can maybe, if you want, maybe you can list your top 3 projects right now for this year or for the future, as you wish.
Well, I mean, I focus on fundamentals. I mean, if anyone's watched my channel for any amount of time, I find the projects I like, and then I stick with those projects. Even in a bull market, I usually focus on the same projects. I talk about them consistently. Centrifuge is, of course, in my top 3. It's been since I figured, It's been in my top projects since I found it. And I know RWAs are the future of DeFi. And you guys have a big head start compared to other RWA projects. First mover advantage is huge in crypto. So, I mean, it's huge in any industry, but it's even bigger in crypto. Another project that's in my top is Chainlink, that stinky link. Decentralized oracles, I mean, is one of the biggest blockchain problems out there, and Chainlink is solving it. So I think, you know, Chainlink is going to be highly important, and the decentralized oracles are going to be extremely important to RWAs too. So yeah, Chainlink's going to be massive. They also have first mover advantage too. They're the first project, you know, that started on the decentralized oracle pathway, which is massive, you know. And Chainlink just announced a POC with Swift, actually, the banking, you know, interbanking network. Swift is going to be using Chainlink CCIP, their cross-chain interoperability protocol. So that's pretty massive. And then Energy Web Chain, as I know, decentralizing energy tracking and trading is going to be massive. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with Energy Web on a neighborhood personal scale, as you know, people are able to trade their energy with their neighbors. Neighborhoods are going to be able to trade with each other. It's already happening a little bit in Europe, not here in the States yet, except a few trials in a few neighborhoods. But Energy Web also has the first mover in the space. I mean, that's what I look for, is someone that's going to change an industry and who's doing it first. And then if you know, they're passionate about what they're doing, they have the team that can pull it off, and they're continually building, even in bear markets with their heads down, that's a project I'm going to invest in and be fully bullish on.
Yeah, definitely. I can add maybe who is doing it so successfully, and who is compliant. That's important as well. If you do something good and you do it illegally, then maybe you get a problem.
Yeah.
And I read here from Robert, omega fatty acids, Hanks wants dog treats tokenized. Yeah, maybe.
Hank wants dog treats tokenized. Now that will be a massive 10-link pool.
Yeah, definitely.
Hank dog treats.
Perfect. Thanks everyone for the questions. I have one more, of course, Tyler, Chico, thanks for answering. That was really hilarious. I read in the chat. One more question. When Centrifuge next video?
When Centrifuge next video? Well, I do need someone to drop me some. I mean, you don't necessarily have to drop me some hints, but I just need, you know, I get flooded with information, you know. I need someone to hit me on the head and be like, hey, Tyler, remember, you know, Centrifuge, you know. So yeah, I need that alpha, you know. I can only do so much research myself. So yeah, soon, you guys.
Yeah, maybe one alpha that it's not real alpha. It's official and is out there. Tin Lake is launching on Centrifuge chain soon, very soon.
Like one thing I want to do, like I want with my channel, I want to be the one to break the news. I don't want to cover something that's already out there, you know, yeah, that's already news. It actually could already be out there, the news, but people don't understand the significance of it, you know, and that's what I try to do. I try to, you know, connect the dots if the information's already out there, and, you know, let people know what this means. You know, I want to be the news. I don't want to read the news.
Yeah, definitely. Then that's why your channel is successful. Otherwise, if you just read down the news like others do, then it's boring. It's nothing special.
I don't get how people watch that content. I'm like, dude,
nothing.
Just go read it. Just go read it yourself.
Maybe one, yeah, definitely. Maybe one idea. Thanks for the hint, Reno. Centrifuge connectors, Moonbeam, yeah, Centrifuge statement. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be big.
Maybe this is a video.
Maybe that is the topic, huh?
Maybe that's the topic. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Thanks, Chico. Really awesome. You took
No
more time than planned actually, but yeah, many questions from the community. Thanks to everyone in the community. Yeah, if you still have one urgent question, then we can ask them, or you can ask them. I don't see any in the chat. Maybe yeah, that's important. You can claim the POAP as well, Tyler. There's a link in the chat, and everyone who attends this call can claim an POAP.
Heck yeah, I got it open right now.
I saw Ivan. Yeah, Ivan posted it again.
Oh, awesome. Are you going to do a Centrifuge meetup one day? Chico Crypto?
Nice one.
I
Nice one.
actually one time was the Centrifuge team at Mainnet 2021. I sat at the Centrifuge booth when no one was there, and everyone thought I was like the team member, was asking me questions about Centrifuge. I was like, all right, I'll answer.
Yeah, that's a good segue actually. You answered so many questions from the community. You said it already. You met the team one time in Lisbon, I guess, if I can remember correctly.
I met Kate, Lucas, and
you met the guys, the core team, and you did a great interview with Lucas in New York.
Yeah, New York. That was at Mainnet. Yeah, got to interview Lucas and hang out. That was pretty cool.
And maybe do you have any question to the team? I can imagine that the team is here. One quick question.
Well, my question for the team is, when are you guys going to get me at a community event? Because I think I can provide a lot of value.
Okay, I think we have to talk about this. I think it's definitely possible. Let's DM, make it happen.
Let's do it.
It's just you've got to choose between North America, Europe.
I'd like Europe. I'm already in North America.
Okay, great. And it looks like de facto Chico Crypto's super keen to be there too. So
nice.
Maybe it's going to be I think that we should definitely do like a real world asset festival.
That would be amazing.
Okay. Something was started here today. Let's see.
Yeah, we just need to find the location. Maybe Ireland, Italy, Czech Republic. We have a lot of Europeans here in the community. Sorry if I forgot someone, but yeah, Europe is definitely the place to be.
Yes, it is.
If you ask me. Eindhoven, yeah, sorry, Nestor. Of course, the Netherlands is here. Nice one. Yeah, perfect call. Kate, we didn't have that much time to talk about news from the community besides the questions and the answers, but I guess that's not too bad. The interview style was too interesting, if you ask me. Yeah, Ukraine, of course. Vadim, sorry, Ukraine is here. Nice one. Thanks, Chico. Hopefully to see you soon in one of the calls. I don't know. The next call is on October 20th, if I remember correctly. It's the governance call from the ecosystem. And yeah, just tune in and leave your comments and your constructive input, of course. Otherwise, yeah, see you soon in one of the events.
Yeah, we will see each other soon. I appreciate all you guys asking me the questions. Hopefully I answered them well and provided value to you guys. Of course, check out my channel. I'm sure a lot of you guys already do. And yeah, I hope to see you guys soon, especially at a festival.
Woohoo.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Tyler,